Good evening. And finally, today we'll do the one thing that you guys really want to do, that is to understand how exactly our answers written. Now, when you are thinking about framing answers in SBL, unlike other papers, you don't have one perfect answer. In SBR, in AFM, in ATX, and all these subjects, there is one perfect answer. Okay. And when I say one perfect answer, that means that is the only way you can do it. There is no other way to tackle that situation. In SBL, it depends on your convincing skills. How well do you frame something? That does not that does not in any way mean कि यार कुछ भी लिख के आओ तो भी चलेगा. That's not the case. Your answer has to be within the confines of the data given to you, within the confines of the story that is given to you. ठीक है. Now, when you approach questions, there is one activity that I specifically expect the students to do. That is to first of all summarize the requirement. ठीक है. अब जैसे the tasks that are given to you, what do I want you to? कल मैंने आपको बोला था summarize the task in as few words as possible. Corjetz CEO recently gave an. Put yourself on mute. Guys, just give me one moment. Just give me one moment. CEO recently gave an interview to a leading Corland business magazine. The chief people officer is about to chair a staff representative committee meeting and thinks it would be useful to communicate some of the key points to the CEO's interview of the CEO's interview to staff at this meeting. She has asked for your help in preparing for this meeting. Prepare briefing notes for the CPO which outline the problems in culture caused by the previous leadership style and the impact that the current CEO's leadership style has had on Corjetz's culture. Professional marks are available for demonstrating commercial acumen in showing insight and understanding of the impact of leadership styles on Corjetz. The CPO believes that many of Corjetz's staff are unaware of the role and importance of NEDs. She has asked for your help in preparing a presentation for her meeting with the staff representative committee. Prepare two presentation slides and accompanying notes for the CPO's meeting with the staff representative committee, which explain the key roles of Corjetz as NED and assess the importance of to Corjetz of having a diverse board. You will get marks for communication skill in clarifying and conveying relevant information to the staff representative and the NED. अब ये data observe करो. There are two huge paragraphs that are given to you. The expectation is, see, आप बार बार if you keep on reading this, you will get completely confused. आप data ही पढ़ते रहोगे. The first thing you should do is you should summarize the requirement in as minimum words as possible. Problems in culture due to previous leadership style. Second task is impact of current CEO. So, and within that, you have to contrast it with impact of current CEO's leadership style. ठीक है. Then second thing is key role of non-executive directors and importance of a diverse board. फर्स्ट इसमें क्या बोला है? प्रिपेयर ब्रीफिंग नोट्स बोला है आपको. ठीक है. सेकंड इसमें बोला है यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर स्लाइड्स एंड अकम्पनिंग नोट्स फॉर द सीपीओज मीटिंग विद द स्टाफ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कमिटी. नाउ लेट्स फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल गेट द पॉइंट्स इन प्लेस, देन लुक एट द स्ट्रक्चर. ठीक है. अब for this, let's see which of the exhibits comes in handy. Exhibit 1, interview with Magda Fisk, CEO of Corjetz. Taking over from Eric Madison as CEO of Corjetz was never going to be easy for Magda Fisk. Although the brothers had built strong foundations for the success of Corjetz, their entrepreneurial spirit and drive could not maintain their early success in customer and staff satisfaction. Customer complaints and staff turnover were at their highest levels 10 years ago. Since joining, Magda has led Corjetz through a successful stock market listing and customer satisfaction ratings hit their highest level in 2002. What were your priorities when you took on the role of CEO? 10 years ago, Corjetz was hierarchical and there was no connection between senior leaders and staff. I wanted staff to have autonomy to make decisions for areas which they were experts in, particularly in customer relationship management. We were not making adequate use of knowledge and talent that existed in the business, nor were we focusing on attracting and retaining high quality staff. Our customer service approach had failed to change with the rapidly evolving external environment. So we had to trust staff to lead us on how to manage customer relationships. What were the problems you had to overcome and how did you address them? This is an interview, by the way. They have just taken excerpts from that interview. ठीक है. Leadership was centralized and there was too focus on punishment rather than reward. We were losing talented staff who felt that their voices were not being heard and were afraid to make mistakes. I introduced the monthly Meet the Board online chats where board members host an interactive chat on the Corjetz intranet site to highlight key initiatives in the business. This was designed to encourage communication and motivation. We have set up staff representative committees where staff are actively encouraged to share ideas. You see, there is one mistake in our approach right now. I'll tell that to you in a minute. We have set up staff representative committees where staff are actively encouraged to share. Training programs are constantly redesigned to ensure staff have the latest skill. I believe that empowered and engaged staff are the driver of customer service. I am proud that as an organization, we encourage open and honest dialogue between staff and leaders. Corjetz has a dynamic culture which embraces change and innovation. We even ask our cabin crew to redesign their own uniforms every 4 years. We hold a competition and the most popular design is selected and professionally created. It is very popular and with stare and fiercely competitive. Why is the board so important? Our non executive directors play a vital role in the strategic success of the business, and diversity is critical in such a dynamic business environment. We are fully focused on ensuring that our NEDs are independent to provide shareholders with the reassurance that our corporate governance is sound. हम क्या कर रहे हैं हम इसका एक सिर्फ न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल जैसे रीड कर रहे हैं वी डिडंट अंडरलाइन एनीथिंग वी डिडंट हाईलाइट एनीथिंग वी लॉस्ट ट्रैक ऑफ द एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑल्सो एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या था एक्सपेक्टेशन था प्रॉब्लम्स इन कल्चर ड्यू टू प्रीवियस लीडरशिप स्टाइल वो हमने कुछ हाईलाइट करने का कोशिश ही नहीं किया वी डिड नॉट इवन ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ करंट सीईओ's लीडरशिप स्टाइल what happened is you ended up wasting 5 to 6 minutes on reading the exhibit, which is why you should read the task first and you should summarize the task. Don't read so much. Understand that after reading these two paragraphs only, one and other these two headings, you should be able to identify the issues with the current leadership style, sorry, with the previous leadership style, and how does how does the entity what is the impact of the new CEO coming in? What positive impact does that bring for you? ठीक है अब we have to we have to start underlining things basically है ना now 10 years ago Corjetz was hierarchical and there was no connection between senior leaders and staff. I wanted staff to have autonomy to make decisions for areas which they were experts in, particularly in customer relationship management. Now tell me, the expectation is issues with the old leadership and solutions brought in by the new leadership. तो आपका आंसर how should it appear? Should it be all problems one after the other of the old style, then all good impacts brought in by the new leadership style? ठीक है या फिर problem of the old followed by solution of the new, problem of the old followed by solution of the new? How should you do it?
Second one, problem and solution.
Second one.
Why is that? Why would
So,
you say that?
because we'll be able to rectify what were the issues and how they have, like, made improvements as per that.
That is what you want to do, right? But that is not how you should approach the question. Read the requirement. Outline the problems in culture caused by the previous leadership style and the impact that the current CEO's leadership style has had on Corjetz's culture. So very clearly, they want you to juxtapose the two things next to each other. इसका problem क्या था? And the new leadership style, what positive impact did it bring? So, if you structure your answer as all problems first and all issues first, you are not talking about the impact brought in by the current CEO's leadership style. What is the meaning of the word impact? You did some action. How is that going to, what effect does that action have? ठीक है if you are writing disadvantages first followed by advantages later, then I don't think you're talking about the impact. You are only talking about disadvantages and advantages or problems But solutions cannot be listed without talking about the problem. So, problem of the old leadership style first, with the solution brought in, or the impact or the effect brought in by the new leadership style. ठीक है. What is the first problem that you observe here?
The
First line
man,
ही देखो. Yes, Shreya.
the management side like centralization.
सेंट्रलाइजेशन वर्ड कहाँ पे लिखा है?
The word ऐसे लिखा नहीं है
तो फिर
पर
करना भी नहीं है.
okay.
State, see, centralization is all power focused in one place and not distributed amongst the different participants. Correct, that is centralization. Hierarchical means a long chain of command. CEO, डेप्यूटी सीईओ, whatever उसके लेके नीचे लोअर मोस्ट पर्सन तक. सो डोंट चेंज द वर्ड्स, डोंट चेंज द स्क्रिप्ट. ठीक है. द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट in the previous leadership style, the organization culture was hierarchical. ठीक है. When I say hierarchical, that means there was a long chain of command, and maybe because of that, the staff was afraid to communicate their ideas. And maybe that is the reason why somewhere it would have contributed to declining customer satisfaction, declining customer confidence in the company. ठीक है. That made the company less competitive. ठीक है. बिकॉज उनका पूरा ध्यान ये इंटरनल इश्यूज में मे बी इट वॉज गोइंग, वी डोंट नो. एंड that is the problem with the old leadership style, that it created a very hierarchical structure. What do you think the new leadership did which helped to address the problem? What did they do?
Autonomy to staff to take decision at
Autonomy?
Okay. And how did that autonomy come in place? See, the issue here is not ability to make decisions, only that. The issue is also communication, right? Hierarchical structure may maybe someone at a junior level has a very valid point, but it is not communicated to the right person. So communication is a problem and autonomy is also a problem. How will you, or what solution here helped you to tackle that?
सर कम्युनिकेशन के लिए वो जो वीकली मीट्स होते हैं
So
the
we
CEO
have
which
set up
introduced
staff represent
Staff representative committees.
where staff are encouraged to share ideas. Problem क्या था? In a hierarchical structure, you found it difficult to share ideas, right? है ना? Ideas share करना आपके लिए मुश्किल हो गया था. Because staff, it was like a long chain of command, you could not communicate. With representative committees, that those ideas are being shared. So don't you think that is giving them a place to voice their opinion and their issues can be heard? Right. And then of course giving them autonomy is the solution. So organization, पहला problem क्या था? The problem was organization structure. That was the first problem. uh do you feel that there is a model that you need to refer here? कुछ ऐसा फील हो रहा है अभी? I don't feel. Let's see if we feel that later. Right now though I'm not feeling it. ठीक है. First issue that you discussed was organization structure. Then see, there were some problems with the old culture, and that necessitated someone new coming in place. एक प्रॉब्लम आपने बता दिया कि it was the hierarchical thing. What is the next issue that we can talk about?
customer complaints.
Customer complaints. Okay, elaborate.
The customers weren't
Sir,
happy
could
with
it be
this.
that?
Yeah, tell me. Yes, Zainab, tell me.
So staff was given the freedom to make their decisions and relate to and solve customer related issues who actually face customers one on one so that they can tackle it in a better format and like in a better way than a leader or somebody who's not on the front face of a, customer relation desk.
Okay. What is the heading that you will give here? First thing was organization structure. What heading will you give here? One of the issues that you have identified was that we weren't making adequate use of the knowledge and talent that existed in the business, nor were we focusing on attracting and retaining high quality staff. Our customer service approach had failed to change with rapidly evolving external environment. So we had to trust staff to lead us on how to manage customer relationship. ठीक है. अब what is happening here? Customer service approach has become outdated, and you need some sort of a solution to that, है ना. You had issues in attracting and retaining high quality staff also. उसका solution दिख रहा है, something that the new manager did which served as an effective solution.
So the training programs that are constantly redesigned.
Training programs that are constantly redesigned, how, what is that helping you with?
Sir, they are redesigned to ensure staff has latest skills and are empowered and engaged.
Fair enough. Staff has the latest or the most required set of skills, and they can drive. They are drivers of customer service. See, यहाँ पे how do you link the 2 points? यहाँ पे the issue is quality of customer service. यहाँ पे she has written, I believe that empowered and engaged staff are the driver of customer service. ठीक है. So you mentioned that point कि this is the problem, this is the solution. What else do you think is the problem?
That
When
employees are not getting rewards, like they are getting punished, so they can't speak.
Okay, which means the earlier culture, the earlier setup, focused on punishments, and it all the decision making rights were with the top management. And because of the fear of being punished, people were afraid of making mistakes. And because they were afraid of making mistakes, they did not venture to try something new. What is the new leadership person trying to do? वो क्या करने का कोशिश कर रही है? The issue is they are afraid. They can't speak. That means your solution has to be something which lets them speak. What is that?
There are open communication between leaders and staff through staff committees, and there were training programs they are organizing a weekly meet so that employees are encouraged and motivated.
Okay.
So also they have like encouraged open and honest dialogue between the staff and leaders, plus the regular monthly meet the board chat, which will probably loosen them up so that they can freely speak about their ideas.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, problem and solution both have been discussed. Chalo, what else? So far, you are on the right path. Customer service is there. The balance of power we have discussed. Then organization structure we have discussed. What else? See, this is for 12 marks. So, thoda sa answer, has to be there.
This staff redundancy, like staff is leaving, staff turnover is getting decreased.
See, staff turnover is going up means more and more people are leaving the organization. Correct? Now, that it's not necessary that it is because of redundancy, na? It's just because maybe the management is bad. The tone from the top is not right. Correct? Now, how do you know that the tone from the top is not right? Where is it mentioned? लिखा है ऐसा कहीं पे?
Is it that statement where entrepreneurial spirit and drive could not maintain their early success in customer and staff satisfaction?
Uh-huh. So how will you develop that point a little further? You're on the right path. Develop करो उसको. So
I
first,
think they were, sorry,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
should I think they were too focused on developing the routes and like travel routes and updating their technologies, so they couldn't be more concerned with staff satisfaction. But over after the new leader has come in, they have started training and providing learning resources, boosting their morale, and also performance-based pay encourages the staff to stay and retain the skill in the company.
Okay. So for staff retention, what is the impact that the current CEO's approach has gotten him? That because of, see, again, we are going back to the staff representation committee. They are getting a platform to share their ideas without the fear of being punished. Management is able to get the staff to feel that they have a voice. So the staff feels that it is also valued, and that becomes beneficial. Effective and healthy communication has been established. ठीक है. Then anything that you feel ki, these are some tangible items of the business culture that have undergone a change. The earlier to the co-founders of the company, so to say, there was entrepreneurial spirit and drive, right? With the new leadership style in Corjetz now, there is an atmosphere of change, innovation. They also speak about company uniforms getting redesigned every 4 years, and there is a renewed symbol, and the staff, because they are also giving their inputs on that, right? It would give customers and staff a refreshed image of the company, because that was the impact of innovation, creativity, empowerment that is created by the company. Now even in these smaller issues where the staff feels ki yaar, because we even ask our cabin crew to redesign their own uniforms, so they feel here our contribution is also being heard, and that is a positive change. Now this is the data given to you. Isme aap how it affects their sense of participation, their sense of ownership, their feeling of belongingness to the company, then you have to build on all of these points. So the issues or the points that we highlighted, is it you know, the organization structure, the balance of power that we spoke about, then, you know, is it telling you of a model that we have seen in the lectures? कुछ एक मॉडल आपको याद दिला रहा है?
Participative leadership style.
Do you remember the cultural web model? याद है भूमिका?
Yes, sir.
What are the 6 components of cultural web?
Sir, one was stories.
Hmm.
Then I'll have to. Um,
All of you are in the paper, okay? You have just thought of cultural web, and but you are not able to remember the points, okay? Or you have walked into the exam and you didn't know that cultural web had to be used, so you are going to write the answer without that. Quite possible. Okay. Now some people will remember, like Navya, for example, here remembers. She says it's power structure, organizational structure, control systems. Then what else? There are some people who will remember. Let us say 50% of or 80% of the people just cannot think of using the cultural web model. Quite possible. Let's see if we can answer even without using the cultural web model. Maybe we'll stand to lose 1 mark or more, but not otherwise. So have you made a mental note of all the points that we have discussed? ठीक है. अब एक बार, this is these are the points that I have noted. ठीक है. These are all the points that you discussed with me just now. Problems with previous culture and leadership, leadership change under CEO Magda Fisk, key aspects of her leadership approach is what I have just put together in one place. I want you to read this. ठीक है. and just check whether all the points that we discussed just now are those covered here. बस उतना ही करो और कुछ नहीं.
Sir, please scroll.
Sure.
Can you scroll?
This is not how the answer has to be written. Huh? This is just a summary of the points. You're not supposed to write the answer like this.
Done, sir.
Okay. ये लास्ट पार्ट देख लो. Are these the points that we discussed ourselves? है ना? हमने यही points discuss किए थे. But this is not how the answer has to be written. What we have done right now is we have just collected all the points in one place. This is not how the answer should be written. So how should you write the answer? When you are framing an answer, there is a structure that you should follow. उसके लिए first of all, understand the format that they are expecting out of you. What is the format here? Briefing notes. Now, I'm sure people who have written AAA, they know the significance of the format. AAA में भी हम अपना section A का जो question होता है, that is always in the form of briefing notes only, right? अभी when it comes to the SBL paper, briefing notes also have a similar format. वो तो change नहीं होगा. There are different formats that the SBL paper will expect from you. I'll share this sheet. ठीक है. There is letter, report, slides, press release, project initiation document. कभी कभी risk register भी पूछ सकते हैं. But whenever the question says briefing notes, the approach should be ये देखो. You should always start with to from subject. Date होगा तो ठीक है, otherwise no date. Heading should be briefing notes. ठीक है. So what is the format for briefing notes? ठीक है. Write briefing notes at the top. ठीक है. Then to from subject. Then introduction paragraph. ठीक है. So summarize in 2 to 3 lines what exactly are the briefing notes talking about. Like in this case, what should you write? You should write these briefing notes. What do they contain? Take it from the tasks. ठीक है. These briefing notes outline the problems in culture caused by the previous leadership style. वही आपको कोट करना है. ठीक है. These briefing notes outline in detail the problems caused by old leadership style for Corjetz company. ठीक है. Problems caused by old leadership style for Corjetz company, and also what do they do? Also evaluate the impact that the current CEO's leadership style has on the Corjetz culture, and also evaluate the impact of the previous leadership. I'm sorry, also evaluate the impact of the leadership style of whom? Current CEO's leadership style. Impact of the current CEO's leadership style on the org culture. बस इतना लिखो और आगे बढ़ो कि ये ब्रीफ 2-3 लाइन में डिस्क्राइब करो. इफ देयर आर मोर रिक्वायरमेंट्स टू दैट. ठीक है. दिस शुड बी योर इंट्रोडक्टरी पैराग्राफ. नाउ कम्स द मेन पार्ट ऑफ द आंसर. नाउ इन दिस केस, बिकॉज आई हैव एक्सेस टू द मॉडल आंसर, है ना, तो मॉडल आंसर में दे हैव मेड यूज ऑफ द कल्चरल वेब. ठीक है. कल्चरल वेब करके एक मॉडल था दैट वी हैड ऑलरेडी स्टडीड. दे आर referring to that model in this answer. In one of the suggested answers, that is what they are doing. Does that fetch you marks? Yes, it will fetch you 1 mark for identifying that particular model. But even if you don't make a reference to that particular model, you will still get the relevant amount of marks. ठीक है. So one model answer. अच्छा, the answer has to be presented as issue with the old leadership style. Tell what is wrong and how it impacts the company. ठीक है. And what is the impact created by the new leadership style. ठीक है. It has to be next to each other. Arrange the two one after the other. Don't write all issues first, followed by all positive impacts later. It has to be one by one. ठीक है. That is the structure of your answer. तो दिखाना कैसे है? Negative situation and then the positive impact created by the new leader. That is the syntax of the answer. तो ये सारे points बराबर है. There's no problem with the points. It's just that the way you arrange them is positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. Issue, solution, and one model answer identifies and applies the culture web model. Even if you don't apply that model and simply frame your answer with relevant pointers, at max you will lose 1 mark. ठीक है. समझ लो कल्चरल वेब नहीं याद आया, हो सकता है इन द प्रेशर कंडीशंस इन एग्जाम you are not able to identify that. Still, if you write all the relevant pointers one after the other, maximum that will happen is you will lose 1 mark, you will not lose more. ठीक है. अब let me take you to what ACCA considers to be an ideal answer. ठीक है. एक सेकंड रुकिए. Can you see this? Now, briefing notes, they haven't done the format right. But the first mark is candidate has used an appropriate model to create a clear structure to their answer. They have also clearly answered the requirement where it asks for both problems and improvements. This is a very good answer that scored full technical marks. It also scores full professional marks as the candidate is showing a good impact of culture and leadership. ठीक है. अब ये look at the second marker. ठीक है. Why is he getting marks for? He is getting again merely introduction, no marks earned. Then talking about organization structure, look at point number 3. ACCA is saying clear identification of problem here, that hierarchy leads to poor communication and low satisfaction leading to poor customer satisfaction. So the structure might have contributed to declining customer satisfaction as well as staff, which made the company less competitive. So in one or two lines you identify what the problem is and what impact does it create on the employee morale and how does it affect the success of the company in the long term. Full 1 mark. उसके बाद देखो, with the representative committees being set up and a more open interactive organization, staff are now able to voice out their needs and ideas and management are now able to manage them better. ठीक है. So staff are now able to voice out their needs and ideas and management are able to manage them better. What is this? This is explanation about the changes that came in about the new management. Not very long. The point that you had discussed, कि because of the new manager coming in, there are now discussion forums या जो भी है, which is again indicative of the fact that the staff can voice out their needs and ideas and management will also be able to tackle them in a better way. इसके लिए full 1 mark. ठीक है. Now, it's okay if you don't identify the cultural web, you will lose 1 mark, and we are okay with that. Talking about power structure represents who actually has power in the company. With the past leadership, it was top management who had the most power, and all staff were afraid of making mistakes and being punished. ठीक है. So clear. So 1 mark for identification of the problem and its impact. The new leadership style empowers staff and encourages them to speak up with their thoughts and ideas. The CEO now wants their staff to feel empowered and all staff see they want their staff to be empowered. They can speak out their ideas, come out with innovation, and they are also trusted with their decisions and judgment. What do you get 1 mark for? One full mark for the good identification of change and implication of bringing in new and innovative ideas. तो आपको स्कोर किस, see how they are allocating marks to you. 1 mark for identification of problem with the old leadership style. 1 mark for the impact or the solution brought in by the new leader. ठीक है. Now tell me, if these headings are not known to you, ठीक है, आपको अगर कल्चरल वेब नहीं पता, यू हैव फॉरगॉटन अबाउट इट और यू हैवंट स्टडीड फॉर द पेपर, आप जस्ट उठ के चले गए एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में, look at point 1 and 2. Do you think these are points you won't be able to write in the paper? ये आप बिना पढ़े भी लिख सकते हो. Do you necessarily need a model to write this? Do you necessarily need to break your head over something the way you do in other papers? Like, if you don't know the disclosure requirements of IAS 24, you will not be able to identify the risk of material misstatement in AAA and you will lose marks. If you don't know how to tackle a forex swap, there are steps, है ना? We follow certain steps there. Identify the loan with the highest differential. फिर उसमें there are a whole lot of things that we need to do. If you don't know that, you are not getting the marks. But here, if you even know the way it is to be presented, do you think presenting these 2 points is a very uphill task? आपको लगता है कि ये आप लिख नहीं पाओगे? Zainab, what do you think? Will you be able to write it?
Yeah, I think with more practice, I'll get the hang of it because I got a few of these points, but the framing is really off for me.
So you're
At
doing.
least, yeah.
नहीं, the first thing that all of you need to understand ना कि you should have a little realistic expectations from yourself, and we have to give up this defeatist attitude कि नहीं मुझे नहीं आएगा, नहीं मुझे नहीं आएगा. Is anything what we have written so far? Tell me how many times did we refer the pre-seen material? देखा है अभी तक एक बार भी? No. How many times
No,
did we open the study hub and how many times did we say कि this is that specific concept or that specific model that we are applying? Did we do that anywhere? No.
no,
So all the expectations that the question has from us, can those, at least so far, can those be addressed solely through the exhibit? इतना प्रीसीन का आपने एनालिसिस किया है ना, क्या क्या देखा आपने, कॉस्ट एंड रिस्क एंड दिस एंड दैट, हैव वी लुक्ड एट एनी ऑफ दैट हियर? नो. लेट मी शो यू
no, sir.
रिक्वायरमेंट्स. आपको बिलीव नहीं हो रहा है ना, आप ये देखो. सूटेबिलिटी, एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी, फीजिबिलिटी क्वेश्चन में पूछा है. डायनामिक नेचर ऑफ प्रिंसिपल रिस्क, पोटेंशियल कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस ऑफ ईच रिस्क, असेस परफॉर्मेंस, एक टास्क में आपको मे भी दिया है Prepare a report for CFO which assesses the performance of Corjetz in the latest financial year, explaining the potential reasons for and implications of the result. ठीक है. अब performance of Corjetz. You are not required to comment on the results in table 2, which is the environmental and sustainability dashboard. ठीक है. The board is about to review the results for the year ending 30th June. CFO has asked for your assistance before he presents the results to the board at its next meeting. He has provided you with Corjetz's performance report and has asked you to assess the financial results, statistics, and key performance indicators included in Table 1. Just taking you there for a minute, what do you mean by Table 1? ये है ना Table 1. इधर बहुत सारा आपको रेशो दिया है, रेवेन्यू कॉस्ट, फ्यूल कॉस्ट, पीबीटी, ये वो. ये तो आपको स्किल लेवल का परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट याद है, उसमें देयर यूज्ड टू बी अ क्वेश्चन कॉल्ड परफॉर्मेंस मेजरमेंट. डजंट इट अपीयर लाइक दैट?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
सिमिलर, राइट? तो नया तो हम कुछ कर नहीं रहे हैं. दिमाग कहीं पे अभी तक तो मैंने नहीं लगाया यार, आपने लगाया होगा तो बताना मुझे, मैंने तो नहीं लगाया. Look at the next part of the answer. Paradigm and story. You don't know the heading paradigm and story. But the company faced declining staff morale and customer satisfaction due to provision of very poor service, and staff were managed by the fear of being punished. Staff would also find that the company culture was very strict and dull, and they would not find working at the company enjoyable due to harsh top management style. The new leadership style implemented training programs which ensured staff have the latest skills and are encouraged to communicate. The culture that is a lot happier, light-hearted, and personal development that is also highly valued. Although I would not recommend you to use these words, happier, light-hearted, ये सब words use मत करना, because then that answer becomes a little emotional. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे we spoke about how earlier the employees did not have a voice, and now how with the training programs their skills have been updated and they are able to participate better in the activities. अब यहाँ पे in the structure of the answer, in the solution part, didn't we write down empowering staff through representation, committees, training, and all of this leading to higher employee morale? All of these shifting control systems from punishment to reward. What is all of this? All of this is again highlighting the problem of the old system. ठीक है. पॉइंट नंबर 7 देखो, एक मार्क किसके लिए मिल रहा है आपको? You are getting 1 mark for identification of the problem that staff is unhappy. Solution is that, of course, new training programs and all of these are happening in the company. ठीक है. Then they were afraid of the management's tone from the top, which in turn led to high staff turnover, as mentioned in the business review. Staff were afraid to make mistakes as they would be punished, and so it discouraged them from sharing ideas, which led to decline in innovation as staff was not getting rewarded. Highly detrimental to mental well-being of the staff as they could not speak up on their well-being, their working conditions, and contribute. First, you describe the issue. Tone from the top led to high staff turnover because it was not very encouraging. And then you talk about decline in innovation. See, again, you are writing repetitive points, so they are not giving you extra marks. But here you see where staff are encouraged to share their thoughts and ideas. So, showing the positive changes that came about due to new management encouraging sharing of ideas. What am I trying to emphasize on? When you frame the second part, which is like the impact or the solution, आपका choice of words भी देखो. The impact that current CEO's leadership style has had on culture is great. Instead of saying great, you can say it is promising. She has set up staff representative committees where staff are encouraged to share their thoughts and new ideas. As they are encouraged to do so and are provided with a platform for them to share ideas without the fear of being punished, this promotes proactive feedback and new ideas from the staff. Okay, so what is happening here? Here you are saying कि नया जो leader आया, what did she do? She set up staff representative committee. The problem was that they were not allowed to speak. The solution is that through these representation committees, they are allowed to speak. हो गया आपका problem solve? Did it improve employee morale? Yes, it did. ठीक है. अब routine is the day-to-day operations. It's okay if you don't remember the heading. But there was no connection between senior leaders and the way of working in terms of customer service approach had failed to change with the rapidly evolving external environment. It was incremental, that change had to be made with the with how the company operate on a regular basis, both internal as well as external. Meet the board online chats on intranet has encouraged communication, especially staff with specific talent and knowledge. This enables management to come up with better strategic planning uh, and to gain wider issues affecting the company and respond accordingly. There is greater motivation communicating between senior leaders and staff, and this improves organizational performance and staff well-being. So, what is again, you are identifying the problem with the old leadership style, that they were not changing, they were not evolving in terms of the evolving environment. And then meet the board chats also helped. Okay. Then symbol. यहाँ पे you talk about the entrepreneurial spirit, and in the second part you talk about how it has become more participative by even asking the employees to participate in designing of their uniforms, so it gives them a sense of ownership, sense of belonging. वो लिख के you can conclude on your answer. अब ये देखो यहाँ पे क्या प्रॉब्लम है. इन दिस पार्ट दिस पर्सन रोट अबाउट सिंबल्स. ठीक है. The reason why I want to highlight this point is simply using a model or referring to a model but not applying it to the facts of the case is not fetching you any marks. ठीक है. यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है. This person wrote कि what is symbol, and he's just giving a description of the facts of the case. डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस पे पॉइंट नहीं है, मार्क्स नहीं है. मार्क्स किस चीज पे मिलेंगे, क्या प्रॉब्लम है विद द करंट सिचुएशन, एंड हाउ डज द न्यू लीडरशिप स्टाइल bring in a solution to that problem. This would give both customers and staff a refreshed image of the company, where they know that innovation, creativity, and empowerment are highly valued by the company. ठीक है. So these are all the marks that you could possibly gain. अब मैं आपको दिखाता हूं what a bad answer looks like. ठीक है. ठीक है. ये है bad answer. Briefing notes for CPO. The answer is very disorganized, and it would have helped if they had used a model framework. Additionally, it would appear that they had some preconceived idea while reviewing the pre-scene, which they have tried to include here rather than answering the requirement as set. Corjetz was established 20 years ago by the two brothers aiming to grow within the industry and gain market share. The brothers did not invest in people, did not, ये हो गया ना इमोशनल. ये लाइन किसने लिखने को बोला. ब्रदर्स डिड नॉट इन्वेस्ट इन पीपल. दिस इज अ सेंसेशनल आर्टिकल और अ सेंसेशनल पॉडकास्ट का कोट दैट यू आर यूजिंग ना. डिड नॉट इन्वेस्ट इन पीपल, ऐसे आंसर नहीं लिखना है. स्टिक टू फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस. The past leadership style was hierarchical. The new leadership style now gives autonomy to all senior directors and leaders for their respective areas. This structure allows the individuals within their respective areas to feel empowered. ये सिर्फ आधा ही करेक्ट है. क्यों? द पास्ट लीडरशिप स्टाइल वॉज हायरार्किकल इज द इशू. यू आइडेंटिफाइड द प्रॉब्लम, बट यू डिड नॉट राइट कि उसके वजह से क्या प्रॉब्लम हुआ. इट बीइंग हायरार्किकल, it takes a lot of time for communication of messages. People at the junior levels might not feel empowered enough to talk to the senior leaders, so exchange of ideas is not happening. Talk about the problems created because of that hierarchical structure. उससे मार्क्स मिलेगा. ये सिर्फ लिखना इज ओनली विनिंग हाफ द बैटल ना, रिमेनिंग हाफ यू आर नॉट गेटिंग इन शेप. देखो, we can't be certain that all of this was actually what was happening. The data given in the pre-scene and exhibits does not really support this. है ना. फिर ये देखो number 3. This appears to be a point showing how the change has helped staff, but is still a little vague. Why? Because talking about the positive impact of a particular item makes sense only when you have told कि यार problem क्या था. Why are you trying to fix something that is not a problem? So description is important. The past leaders also failed to consider the needs of the employees. Stakeholder models and an organized board structure help define clear goals and strategies for Corjetz. It is important to recognize who is the agent, and ये कैसा आंसर है. ये जबरदस्ती मॉडल घुसाने का आंसर है ये। यहाँ पे what this person is trying to do is this person is trying to act smart and trying to use words which make which are a little SBL छाप। उससे क्या हो रहा है? Not answering the requirement। पूछा क्या था आपको? Problems with the old leadership style ना? Stakeholder models and an organized board structure define clear goals and strategies is that is not helping you achieve anything। Every step that you take should either be towards pointing issues with the old and or solutions given by the new। ये क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं है। Then though through the structure we are able to view constructively and objectively what our strengths and weaknesses are, a diverse structure at the top portrays our values and filter through to the rest of our employee network, a workforce from different backgrounds with a variety of skills or experience, something that was not visible 10 years ago। ये इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? सी, it is not clear how this applies to Corjetz। What relevance have the strengths and weaknesses here? Why does visibility matter? इसने क्या लिखा? Through the structure, we are able to view constructively and objectively what our strengths and weaknesses are. A diverse structure at the top portrays our values. But पहले problem तो बताओ। Having a diverse board is the second requirement ना, first requirement नहीं है having a diverse board। ये अपने मन से बात कर रहा है। You are not answering the question requirement, you have lost marks। ये पॉइंट पढ़ो। इफ एन एम्प्लॉय इज स्पेंडिंग द मेजोरिटी ऑफ देयर टाइम वर्किंग, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट वी ऑल फील वैल्यूड एट वर्क एंड एंजॉय कमिंग टू वर्क। Removing negative culture and behavior and focusing on building our talent pool, developing our people to be the next leaders drive our strategies। किसी कंपनी के एचआर का ओपनिंग स्टेटमेंट है। इफ वी हैव हाई मोरल दिस नेचुरली शाइन्स थ्रू आवर कस्टमर सर्विस। आर कस्टमर सर्विस हैज सिग्निफिकेंटली इंप्रूव्ड। ये फिर भी लास्ट लाइन कुछ सेंसिबल है। भूमिका, should a person enjoy coming to work and remove negative culture?
Sir,
Yes.
yes.
And if you are unable to do that, then what should you do? Maybe we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Yes. The candidate does not explain how the staff are now feeling and that they are important। The change in culture that has allowed this is not clear। ये तो इसने यार this feels again like a caption है ना। प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पे बताया? He said, oh, we should all like coming to work, we should not have Monday morning issue, ये वो सब नहीं चाहिए, ठीक है। बट प्रॉब्लम तो बताओ, प्रॉब्लम क्या है? दैट यू आर नॉट बीइंग हर्ड ना, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग दैट you are not getting that push, you are not feeling valued because your opinion is not being heard, है ना। इसी का बात हो रहा है, right? Is there any mention of that problem? I see not। No marks। सो नाउ यू सी कैसे कैसे वो आपको मार्क्स देते हैं। और ये आंसर ना इमोशनल आंसर है। दिस इज द आंसर ऑफ अ स्टूडेंट। आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट हिज लेवल ऑफ प्रिपरेशन। दिस स्टूडेंट थिंक्स ही इज वेरी स्मार्ट because he is bringing in his own insights into the answer। You're not supposed to do that। Corjet's values outline putting people first, your voice matters, regular engagement with employees, regular feedback and appraisal, offering a fair reward, providing development opportunities। We are here to support your growth। ये तो यार कोई एचआर की जूनियर फेंक रही है ऐसा लगता है। While this comment is true and from the information given in the exam, there is no link to how this is helping them। See, do you realize the problem in this answer? All jokes aside, you are not talking about the problem। You are only giving generic one-liners here and there। कि अरे नहीं, you should feel valued, but why? First of all, the problem is you are not valued। That is the problem। And why do you feel you are not valued? Because your voice is not being heard। Then having that discussion forum is solving the problem। You are getting an opportunity to speak up। वहीं से आंसर उठाओ ना। Don't make it like a 50 pager। इतना ही लिखो, but sensible लिखो। There is an element in our mission that only connects us with our customers, but also connects us with our workforce। Health and safety is not just operational to our business, but we have a commitment to staff health and safety to creating a safe environment, not linking to the data from exhibits। This is like a BCom line. Driving innovation by investing in latest technology is not only कस्टमर फोकस, स्ट्रीमलाइन। पहले प्रॉब्लम, इशू क्या है इस आंसर का, उसको प्रॉब्लम्स ही नहीं आइडेंटिफाई कर पाया। If you observe in the good answer part, what were they giving you marks on? They were giving you marks. See, forget the fact that you had to identify the model. Marks किस चीज के लिए मिल रहा था? Identification of the problem, explaining and linking it with the old leadership style. दूसरा जो मार्क मिल रहा था, that you were getting for telling what the new leadership has done for changing this particular approach or changing this particular feeling that the company has or the employees have or whoever has। ठीक है, उसके लिए आपको मार्क्स मिलता है। सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि एक तो जेनेरिक लिखना नहीं है, इवन इफ यू डोंट यूज अ मॉडल, ठीक है, एंड प्लीज take this very seriously, even if you don't use a model, but you link every single line of your answer to facts of the case, you will still be in a position to secure at least 8 to 9 marks out of 12, as long as you are only focusing on the data in front of you। Now let me take you for a moment to, अरे नहीं, not to this tab, wait। Company overview pre-scene, the issue that we spoke about। ठीक है, ये टास्क 1A was issues with the old leadership style, solutions provided by the new leadership style। एक बार इस पे नजर मारो, डू यू सी एनी इंफॉर्मेशन रिलेटिंग टू दैट हियर? अच्छे से देखो, टेक अ मिनट।
No, sir.
ठीक है, नथिंग हियर, लुक एट दिस। इधर कुछ दिख रहा है की रिसोर्सेस में? क्विकली नजर मारो।
No, sir.
इधर टेक्नोलॉजी का बात हो रहा है, इधर पीपल, स्टाफ, वेबसाइट का बात हो रहा है। कुछ मिला है आपको?
Yes, sir.
नो। One question for 12 marks that we saw, absolutely no connection with pre-scene, कुछ भी connection नहीं था। And there was a connection with one model, which is the cultural web model, no doubt, but even if you don't have that reference, you still stand to lose only 1 mark at best। ठीक है, any reason to feel demotivated so far कि हमें तो नहीं आता, I can't frame SBL level answers? Is there a level? मुझे तो नहीं दिखा। So why fear? Because for once, everything is in front of you। अब एक और चीज देखो, ठीक है, ये फर्स्ट पार्ट था। सेकंड रिक्वायरमेंट इज की रोल ऑफ एनईडीज, इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ अ डाइवर्स बोर्ड। कैन यू डू? इसके लिए आई वॉन्ट यू टू डू वन टास्क, ओपन द स्टडी हब, आई गिव यू 5 minutes। रोल ऑफ एनईडी वही पूछा है ना, रोल ऑफ एनईडी, इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ अ डाइवर्स बोर्ड। स्टडी हब खोलो या अपने नोट्स खोलो, वॉट एवर यू वॉन्ट टू ओपन। ठीक है, टेक 5 minutes एंड आइडेंटिफाई। ठीक है, आई एम कीपिंग दिस ओपन इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू। ठीक है, 5 मिनट लो और ये ढूंढ लो एंड राइट द फैक्चुअल पॉइंट्स विथ यू, देन वी हैव टू अप्लाई इट टू फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस। ठीक है, स्टार्ट करो। सो key role of NED is importance of a diverse board, have we been able to locate something relating to that? चलो, who can tell me, read out from the material that you have gone through just now, वहीं से बता दो चलो।
The remuneration committee to decide the salary of the executive directors.
What is the question, Shreya?
The role of NED.
रोल ऑफ एनईडी में सीधे आप रेम्यूनरेशन कमेटी पे चले गए और कुछ भी नहीं मिला आपको? Who can tell me?
So they help in providing strategic guidance.
Okay. Then
So they scrutinize the performance of executive directors.
scrutinize the performance of executive directors. Okay. Then they provide guidance, strategic guidance. Fair enough. What else?
Challenge the executive director.
Do what?
Challenge the executive director.
Balance.
NED. Challenge.
Challenge. Okay. Challenge the executive directors. Fair enough.
Ensuring effective internal controls and risk management systems are.
Okay. Can it be considered as a part of corporate governance in some way?
Yes.
So, guiding regarding the corporate governance and whether it is sound and robust or not.
Okay.
Sir, he is fully independent and brings the external experience to the table for strategic decisions.
Can we just talk about these 4 points? Independent monitoring, external expertise and knowledge, yet with insider knowledge of the business, broad and long term perspective, can provide added diversity to the board in terms of age, gender, ethnicity, etc. These are some of the basic points that you can add. Now let's hear what else you have to say. I think somebody was answering when I kind of interrupted. So can you repeat that point, whosoever was reading that out? बताइए, somebody was mentioning something and then I unfortunately interrupted.
Sir, like I was saying, he is fully independent and brings the external experience to the table for
Very
guiding
good.
the
Very,
strategies.
very good. Then, Daksh, do you have anything to say?
No, sir. All the points I think have been covered.
Okay. Now, these are fair enough points. They are experts in their own right and they bring in that external perspective, yet they are internal to the company. Then they help, in ensuring appropriate corporate governance principles are applied. Then they add certain layer of diversity to the board. They keep a tab on the performance of executive directors. So in a way, they are steering the executive directors. We can talk about that. Then what else?
Sir, unbiased approach.
Unbiased approach, fair enough. Neutral approach, one could say, fair enough. Anything else?
The resolving conflict of interest.
Is that their job, resolving conflict of interest? Where have we read that?
सर ने एक पॉइंट पढ़ा था मैंने स्टडी पे.
क्या पढ़ा था? That they resolve conflict of interest.
नहीं, एक रोल वो भी होता है रिजॉल्विंग कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट बिटवीन एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर्स.
Okay.
Sir, formation of committees.
Formation of the committee is not their job. They don't do that. Okay. While I connect the charger, I'll just give this to you for reading for a minute. ठीक है, एक बार ये देखो, have a look at it and see if you can frame other points. I'll just connect my charger. एक second दो. चलो बताओ, एनीथिंग एल्स? स्ट्रैटेजी फॉर्मेशन ने बहुत जेनेरिक हो गया, वेरी जेनेरिक पॉइंट, स्ट्रैटेजी फॉर्मेशन। एड्स को, नो 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 नो, ये अभी, दैट इज नॉट द रोल ना। व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन? द क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग यू व्हाट इज द की रोल ऑफ एनईडी, एडिंग टू द शेयर होल्डर कॉन्फिडेंस। अभी ये आप अपने मन से इंटरप्रिटेशन डाल रहे हो बिकॉज यू हैव रन आउट ऑफ आंसर्स। डोंट डू दैट। What are some of the real jobs of non-executive director? They do independent monitoring. ठीक है, they bring in external expertise. They can add to diversity of the board. They can give you strategic direction. They can help you in decision making. Right now, very critical at this stage is to understand कि एक तो फॉर्मेट क्या पूछा है आपको। ठीक है, हैव अ लुक एट दिस। द फॉर्मेट दैट दे हैव आस्क्ड इज, the CPO believes that many of Corjetz's staff are unaware of the role and importance of non-executive directors. She has asked for your help in preparing a presentation for her meeting with staff. Prepare two presentation slides and accompanying notes for CPO's meeting with the staff representative committee. So, how should you frame? What is the format? They want you to make two presentation slides. ठीक है, अब स्लाइड कैसे बनाएंगे? आप हाथ से बनाएंगे? नो। इन द एग्जाम, दिस इज योर एग्जामिनेशन विंडो। एग्जामिनेशन विंडो में यू हैव द स्लाइड्स वाला फॉर्मेट हियर। ठीक है, ऑब्जर्व दिस, यू हैव स्लाइड्स। हियर यू राइट डाउन द पॉइंटर्स and here you have to write the speaker notes, then slide 2 followed by speaker notes. Now what is the difference between a slide and a speaker note? See, when you present something on screen, when you are when you are presenting something to the audit committee, if you are an internal audit, if you are presenting something to your team, a slide does not contain full sentences usually. Slide में सिर्फ point, only bullets or pointers are there. A slide is not meant to be like an essay. A slide should only contain the heading and the bullet points. ठीक है, you know, one of the feedback points that we used to receive when I was with EY, the partner used to say कि अरे no, you are crowding the slide with too much information. ठीक है, आपने बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड कर दिया है स्लाइड्स में। डोंट डू दैट, जस्ट गिव द हेडिंग्स एंड imagine that you are standing in front of an audience and you are delivering a you are delivering a seminar on some topic. तो आप स्लाइड पे पूरे सेंटेंसेस नहीं लिखोगे ना। you will, on the slide you will mention, if I want to talk about pollution in Delhi, you will give the you will give certain headings, right? For example, you will mention worsening AQI, air quality index is worsening, reasons, stubble burning, firecrackers. You will not write full sentences ki अरे firecracker burn करने से pollution. You will not write that. But you are standing in front of an audience, you are presenting the screen, you also need to speak, right? The speaker notes are for that. It's like, a cheat sheet. Just say people will carry a chit in their pocket, and if they want to, they will read it out from there. The speaker note is exactly like that. The speaker note, see, that is not visible to the viewers. When you present it on screen, सिर्फ main slide दिखता है. But below the main slide, there are certain notes that you can add. Because when you are speaking to such a wide audience, how will you get that information? अब ये आई शो हाउ दैट वर्क्स इन पीपीटी। ये पीपीटी में देखो ACCA स्लाइड है, इधर नीचे देखो क्लिक टू ऐड नोट्स। ठीक है, एंड नाउ इफ आई शो दिस ऑन स्क्रीन, ठीक है, नाउ हियर यू विल हैव द नोट्स। That is, the world doesn't see that. I see that. So my heading, I read from the screen and say worsening AQI. And niche, they have written full explanation of why is the AQI getting bad, what are the numbers, so on and so forth. So that is the job of this format. स्लाइड में आप लिखो जो आपके मेन पॉइंट्स है, स्पीकर नोट में आपको उसको एलैबोरेट करना है। ठीक है। अब द स्लाइड शुड ऑलवेज कंटेन bare minimum information. Plus, you should not write full sentences in a slide. It should always be, say, in this case, I'll take you to the ideal answer. Key role of Corjetz is NEDs: governance, diversity, strategic planning, and management. You know what you can do is you can give it center alignment. यहाँ पे देखो alignment का भी option है. Give it center alignment. Give points 1, 2, 3, 4 and write these. Clear slide with heading to link the requirement and a limited number of bullet points. Clear and professional approach. Candidate has scored 2.66 marks only in this part, as it could have contained a little more content to introduce the comments being made more effectively. ठीक है. They have also misunderstood the role of NEDs in part of the answer here as well. So, what is the good part about this? It's concise. But the negative point that they have highlighted is too concise. Sirf governance likhna is not enough. Just writing strategic planning and decision making, not enough. The points that we discussed, what are the points? Ki this person, or sorry, the non-executive directors, they help in monitoring performance. Okay. Then they help in strategy formulation. Then they also challenge the strategy. Then they monitor the performance of directors. They help in director appointment, they help in deciding the director remuneration. हो गए key roles of NEDs, right? So these are the points that you should be writing, but you still get points for that. And these are the speaker notes. Firstly, Corjetz says NEDs are responsible for reviewing and monitoring corporate governance. These are the rules we have to follow in our org. NEDs ensure that we stick to the rules and work within the legal requirements. As NEDs are independent, they ensure that we are not breaching any rules or criteria imposed by the government, as it is important to demonstrate that there is no conflict of interest. It is therefore good to show we have NEDs who review and monitor our corporate governance. The candidate has identified that NEDs are responsible for corporate governance and why they do this. NEDs ensure that there is diversity incorporated. They ensure there are roles with different gender, race, age. It is significantly important to achieve cultural dynamics. Now here you are writing full marks. Okay. Sorry, full sentences, because these are speaker notes. This is not the slide. Okay. Then, and thirdly, key role of Corjetz as NEDs is to make strategic planning and manage it to achieve strategic success. It is important to the company as strategic management plays a significant role in the company's development. You write about NEDs do not plan and run the business alone, as this first few sentences seem to suggest. The 3 steps in strategic management are a simple regurgitation of theory and do not answer the question. NEDs work alongside the executive directors to determine the capabilities and strategy. So, what they are, regurgitation means repetition of theory. Read these 4 lines. Tell me if they add any value or it's just plain repetition of facts. Not facts, plain repetition of theory, I would say. ठीक है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? You are just repeating facts, you are not adding anything new. NEDs are here to pose as our guidance and provide the most neutral. I think one of you mentioned that they are unbiased and that is beneficial. Yes, the fact that they provide unbiased and objective support fetches you 1 full mark. ठीक है. Finally, NEDs monitor our board's decision making. They are able to provide a non biased opinion and ensure that our decision making benefits our shareholders. They ensure that the decisions made by management are maximizing shareholder wealth and that they are doing it legally as well. NEDs are responsible that to ensure that directors act in the best interest of the company. So ये जो स्पीकर नोट्स है, the way you have to train your mind is I am standing on the stage. I have a presentation, but I don't have a very good memory. So when I read the point, I need a supporting document to explain that point further. The speaker notes are doing that job for you. Did you understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
We looked at two formats. One, we looked at the briefing note format, and we looked at the slides and speaker note format. The first part of the task 1A that we had today, was focused solely on exhibits. आप exhibits use करेंगे और exhibits को refer करके you will frame that part of the answer. What was new was getting the structure right. आपने structure मतलब problem solution that way. We also understood where is ACCA rewarding marks and where is it uh, absolutely not giving you any credit. Yes, Pinky.
So for sliding, how much marks they allocate for this presentation, how much marks they allocate for the speaker note, and how much points we should write about it.
So out of 12 marks, slide will get only 4 and remaining 4 to 5 and remaining marks will be for the speaker notes.
And how much marks to be written, like how many points each slide.
At least 4 to 5 relevant points you should write. Because that is, see, if there are 6 relevant points in terms of, the role of NEDs, then you should ensure those many points are written. Stop trying to correlate number of points with marks, because एक तो यहाँ पे split दिया नहीं है. स्प्लिट दिया होगा तो माई जनरल रूल इज जितना भी नंबर ऑफ मार्क्स है ना, उससे मैं एक पॉइंट ज्यादा लिखता हूं ऑलवेज. इफ देयर आर 4 points, I write 4 marks, I write 5 points there. That is my usual approach. ठीक है. And the speaker notes are in a lot of detail. Those are literally sentences that you will read. It's like a teleprompter. ठीक है, you are looking at the teleprompter and reading. These notes are helping you to elaborate on that point when you are standing on stage and giving this presentation. Is the format clear? Second format. Everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now, this is, one of those answer types where we looked at two different formats and we tried to understand कि ब्रीफिंग नोट्स होगा तो कैसे लिखना है, स्लाइड्स एंड अकम्पनिंग नोट्स मतलब स्पीकर नोट्स होगा तो कैसे लिखना है. नाउ इन सम केसेस यू माइट बी आस्क्ड टू प्रिपेयर अ प्रेस रिलीज. So we look at the format of a press release. Let me show it to you how that appears. ठीक है, कम्युनिकेशन वाला कहाँ चला गया. हाँ. Now if you have been asked to write a letter, for example, letter में क्या होता है, to from date subject, address, salutation, and then the concluding part. But a letter email should always have three main subdivisions: the introductory paragraph, the main body, and the concluding remarks. ठीक है. रिपोर्ट होगा तो अगेन सेम, इंट्रोडक्शन, मेन बॉडी, कंक्लूडिंग कमेंट्स. टू फ्रॉम सब्जेक्ट, सी बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट फॉर्मेट ऑफ अ बैलेंस शीट, ये थोड़ा सा चलता है, बट आई मीन लेटर राइटिंग एंड ऑल यू हैव बीन डूइंग सिंस स्कूल. ठीक है. अब व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग स्लाइड्स एंड अकम्पनिंग नोट्स, गिव अ स्लाइड, द हेडिंग शुड बी वेरी क्लियरली मेंशन्ड. ठीक है. हेडिंग लिखो, नीचे 3 पॉइंट लिखो, बोल्ड करो उसको, सो दैट द individual is the examiner is able to see how you have written it. And उसके नीचे 3 points 1 2 3 करके लिखो, 1 2 3 4 whatever it is. The accompanying notes give detailed explanation of the points that you have written. Or you could be asked to give a press release. Press release has to be, in very limited number of words. It's not, you are not Arnab Goswami to shout on a news channel. ठीक है. आप क्या करेंगे, you will give the press release time and date. You will make short factual paragraphs and you will end it with, for more information contact XYZ person. ठीक है. And then of course your email ID. Risk register हम बनाएंगे. So when we analyze the pre-scene for your attempt, we'll look at the risk register also. ठीक है. And project initiation document, we'll look at a situation and then we'll make the project initiation document. Don't worry. Today we have looked at task 1, 1A and 1B. ठीक है. In tomorrow's session we'll be looking at task 2 and 3. तो अपना first paper complete हो जाएगा. ठीक है. Are you with me, all of you? Are you able to understand how exactly to approach the SBL paper?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Is it giving you a little more confidence than what you had last week?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा थोड़ा अभी आ रहा है समझ में कि कैसे अप्रोच करना है. Right? Just remember one thing. Everything that you need to answer the question is given to you in the form of an exhibit. Nothing should be added beyond that. हाँ, थोड़ा सा if you are referring to role of NEDs, you're referring to a model, वो आप include करो. But apart from that, you don't need to look at anything. That is the only information you should be looking at. And if you have noticed, we looked at two subparts to a question. Not once did we open the pre-scene material. एक बार भी नहीं खोला. हाँ? Let's see if we are required to do that in task 2 and 3. ठीक है? Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. अभी कल
Yes,
के लिए
sir.
कुछ मत करो. Keep on revising the concepts. Tomorrow we'll do task 2 and task 3. ठीक है? चलो. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Thank you.